Hi, Buzzika here. Today, I'm going to break down a sci-fi drama series called Under the Dome. Warning, major spoilers ahead. 3 days into being trapped, the residents of Chester's Mill begin losing their sanity. The soldiers guarding the dome's perimeter retreat, escalating the chaos. Town mortician Lester steps in, quoting the Bible and claiming it's God's wrath upon them. His words temporarily quell the unrest. But with supplies dwindling, tension rises again. Linda suddenly collapses and must be rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, Angie remains locked in the bunker. Junior arrives with food and clothes. Angie, secretly wielding hidden scissors, attacks, but Junior dodges easily. He professes his love, insisting she must stay until she loves him back. Left alone, Angie bangs on the pipes, causing a rupture. Water floods the bunker, knocking her out. Elsewhere, Julia investigates her missing husband, Peter. She finds his car outside DJ Phil's trailer. Phil reveals Peter sold it just before the dome appeared. Worse, Phil admits knowing Barbie, exposing Barbie's lie about being a stranger in town. Suddenly, Phil faints, just like Linda. He's taken to the hospital, where others with similar symptoms are gathered. Joe and Norrie also visit, as Alice and Caroline worry about their seizures. Alice, a doctor, volunteers to help, despite the hospital's limited supplies. As the outbreak spreads, the hospital runs out of essentials, forcing Alice and the nurses to work with what they have. Julia confronts Barbie, but before he can explain, she collapses. Alice suspects meningitis but lacks equipment to confirm it. Jim gives Junior a gun, ordering him to quarantine patients to contain the infection. Meanwhile, Barbie and Jim search the town's pharmacy for medicine. Angie awakens as the rising water nears her face. She frantically attempts to stop it, but the damage is beyond her ability to fix. At the hospital, Julia learns from Phil that Peter was supposed to meet him in a cabin. Julia, growing suspicious, sneaks out to find it. Meanwhile, Barbie and Jim reach the pharmacy, only to find it ransacked. Jim suspects Lester and rushes to confront him. Lester is burning stolen medications, claiming they shouldn't defy God's plan. Jim and Barbie stop him, retrieving the supplies. Linda remains critical. An elderly woman sacrifices her own medicine to save Linda, dying as a result, leaving Linda riddled with guilt. Meanwhile, hospital patients revolt. Junior, despite his initial aggression, calms them down, convincing them to stay in quarantine. Julia finds Peter's cabin but no trace of Barbie. However, she discovers financial documents revealing their bankruptcy. In shock, she collapses again. Joe and Norrie realize touching causes their seizures. They record their experiment, where they both utter, "pink stars falling in line." Reviewing the footage, they decide to keep it secret. Barbie finds Julia unconscious and takes her to the hospital, knowing she may have learned the truth about Peter. Linda praises Junior's bravery and appoints him as a deputy. Julia awakens and demands answers from Barbie. He reveals he's an enforcer for a betting company. Peter owed money, and Barbie was sent to collect. Julia is stunned, but Barbie omits further details. That night, Jim meets Lester, who returns their illegal profits from propane sales. It's revealed they had been selling propane for drug manufacturing. Lester, now remorseful, wants no part in it. Jim later hears banging from his house's pipeline and discovers Angie imprisoned in the bunker. Despite her pleas, he refuses to release her, fearing Junior's imprisonment. The next day, Lester rants about hearing the word mob. Jim dismisses it as a hallucination, but Lester is convinced he's the dome's messenger. Joe and Norrie spot butterflies stuck to the dome's surface, affecting its magnetic field. Moments later, buses arrive, bringing visitors under government orders. The trapped residents rush to reunite with their loved ones. Linda sees her fiancé killed. Copyright. Meanwhile, the dome becomes an international news sensation. Lester continues preaching doom, pressuring Jim to confess their crimes publicly. Jim refuses, but Lester gives him an ultimatum. Julia meets her sister-in-law, who gives her Peter's farewell letter, indicating he ran away due to debts. Heartbroken, Julia assumes he abandoned her. By nightfall, the military evacuates visitors. Barbie speaks with a soldier, learning the government is pulling out for good. Barbie deduces Lester's mob means mother of all bombs. The government intends to destroy the dome, fearing its magnetic interference. The civilians' visit was a final goodbye. Barbie, Jim, Linda, and Julia rush to warn everyone. The town gathers in the underground tunnel, their only hope. With death seemingly imminent, Jim releases Angie. She rushes home but can't find Joe. Instead, Junior, holding a gun, confesses his love. Accepting their fate, Angie embraces him as they await the blast. Elsewhere, Joe and Norrie search for Angie. Seeing the missile approach, they share a final kiss. Miraculously, the dome absorbs the impact, shielding the town while everything outside is obliterated. Jim sees the devastation outside. Lester still demands his confession, but Jim discreetly places Lester's hearing aid on the dome, causing it to explode and killing him instantly. As the town inspects the damage, Angie escapes Junior, leaving him behind. A separate crisis arises as a car crash bursts a water tank, further depleting resources. The town's radio signals are jammed except for a strange tune. Dodie builds a device, tracing the interference to inside the dome. She and Julia investigate. The town's lake is now toxic with methane. With no filtration methods, desperation grows. Chaos erupts as people raid the convenience store. Linda intervenes, but the unrest is palpable. Junior arrives to help control the situation. Meanwhile, Alice's condition worsens, requiring insulin. Norrie attempts to steal medicine but relents upon meeting a diabetic child. Joe takes a single dose for Alice. Angie confides in Rose about Junior's abuse. Soon after, two thieves break in, killing Rose and attacking Angie. As riots rage outside, Barbie rescues Angie. Linda draws her gun, but rainfall halts the chaos. Barbie unknowingly hands Angie to Jim, who secretly detains her again. Julia and Dodie realize Joe and Norrie generate the frequency. When they touch the dome together, the interference stops, confirming their link to the dome. That night, Julia and Barbie embrace, exhausted by the day's events. Julia's feelings for Barbie deepen. Despite his past, Angie awakens in Jim's house. He offers protection in exchange for her silence about Junior's actions. Before she can respond, Junior arrives, and the episode ends. Subscribe for more recaps, turn on notifications, and don't forget to like the video. Thanks for watching.